My name is Kellen Grimm. I'm an acupuncturist, co-founder and owner of North Node Clinic here in Milwaukee. There are not that many acupuncturists in the Midwest, and there are hardly any queer or trans acupuncturists in the country. So I feel a great calling to be here to serve our community and to live out my passion of Chinese medicine. I love Chinese medicine because it is authentically holistic, and it can be as spiritual, esoteric, artistic, or as medical and physical as the practitioner wants it to be. I perform acupuncture. I'm also an herbalist, so I prescribe Chinese herbs. I know some astrology, so I do astrology readings focused on the North Node. In astrology, the North Node pertains to destiny. So in this lifetime, one way to fulfill our destiny is to work with the North Node and step into what we're being challenged to grow into. I also do cupping and gua sha, which are Chinese medicine modalities, and I'm going to start a Qigong class next year, which is another form of Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine and acupuncture is an ancient practice from China that addresses the body holistically. Chinese medicine is actually an umbrella that contains Qigong, Tai Chi, herbal medicine, dietary therapy, acupuncture, feng shui, so all these different practices to change how energy moves in the world and in the body. And then acupuncture is the use of very small stainless steel needles to change the way energy and blood flows in the body and to help the body function optimally. In acupuncture, the needle is stimulating micro blood vessels and micro nerves to increase blood flow and calm the nervous system. There have been studies that show that at acupuncture points, there are these little tiny nerves, systems of nerves and blood vessels that change and relax and move more efficiently when the needle is inserted. The Eastern perspective is that the needle is connecting with the qi at that site. Qi is known as life force energy, prana. It could be also thought of as like this innate electricity in the body that keeps us alive and is constantly flowing, and it's helping it move more efficiently and effectively. And when the qi flows better, then it gets more energy to the organs and the whole body functions better. One question I often get is, does acupuncture hurt? I will say that there are many different sensations that are often felt in an acupuncture treatment, and there's different timing for these sensations. So when I insert the needle, sometimes there is a sensation felt at insertion. It can feel dull and heavy. It can feel a little bit like a pinch. It cannot feel at all. So it really depends on the point and the person and the technique. And it is possible that there is very minimal feeling when the needle is going in. After the needles are in and the patients are resting on the table, there are also different sensations that can be felt. Sometimes people will feel heat, or like I mentioned earlier, the dull throbbing, or like the limb is really heavy. These sensations are not painful. They are indicating that the qi is working and moving through the body in a way that the body is probably not used to, because a lot of people have never had acupuncture. Sometimes a limb will twitch or a muscle will twitch, and that is okay too. That just means that things are being reset and the body isn't used to this type of movement. So it's a good sign actually when the body reacts with different sensations. So Chinese medicine is based off of a foundational theory of yin and yang. The yin-yang theory is really a worldview. It's a whole paradigm about how the world works and how to best live this life. It may seem completely black and white, like the symbol, completely opposite, and yes, there are opposites, and they also always depend on each other. So for example, taking a breath. You have your inhale, and then it effortlessly transforms into the exhale. They are opposite mechanisms, and they depend on each other, and they always need each other. In terms of gender, everybody has an amount of yin and yang in their body. It's not like people who identify as male are all yang, and people who identify as female are all yin. different times of day, different times of the year. We're going to have different balances of yin and yang, different ages. Children tend to have a lot of yang. They're very energetic. Their energy often moves up. They have a lot of heat. And whereas people who are slower, quieter, possibly older, but it really depends on the person, is going to be a bit more yin. So in terms of non-binary people, like myself, we have different amounts of yin and yang just like anybody else. And that is why Chinese medicine is awesome for non-binary people and trans people, because an acupuncturist's job is to adjust the changing levels of yin and yang in every patient at any moment. So I'm not always looking at somebody through the lens of sex and gender. I'm looking at them like, okay, maybe the yang is a little tired and worn out, and how do we get it stronger? So beyond helping people feel better physically, I also work with people's emotions and spiritual blocks. So when I'm working with somebody, like feeling their pulse, I can use my intuition to ask, like, are you frustrated, or is there something that might be pulling you out of alignment that's also impacting how the muscles might be pulling you out of alignment? So just as there are physical symptoms, they're often linked to spiritual and emotional obstacles or feelings or hurdles that someone is currently facing. With trans patients, what we're looking at specifically is self-esteem and owning our identity and recovering from violence, whether it's violence from an external source or violence from a past life, or violence in our thoughts and how we think about our bodies and how we sit with a current reality and the current constraints of our bodies, which can be very stressful. So the more trans-specific themes I'm working with is, yes, scar treatment, and more of the spiritual, emotional issues like confidence and verbalizing how we're feeling and verbalizing our identity and being able to stand up and be who we are moment to moment. So there are often emotional changes with HRT that people might not be expecting or might not know much about before going on HRT. Every channel of the body, and there are 12 main acupuncture channels in the body, they all have emotional aspects to them. So even though an acupuncture session might not be inherently for emotional, spiritual issues, just by getting acupuncture, the emotions are going to be helped by unblocking areas of stagnation and also helping emotions course through the body and get released so that patients don't hold emotions in the body for longer than is appropriate, because when emotions are held in the body for too long, then often we feel pain and there are other symptoms that arise. So acupuncture can have the effect of making people feel more emotional, which is okay, and those emotions do need to come up and out for that feeling to be resolved and for people to be able to move on. Many people are uncomfortable with certain areas of their body, which is completely okay. We all have different comfort levels with different parts of our body. My take on that is that my practice is very patient-led, so I am not going to touch or needle or expose any part of the body that people don't want treated. So I might ask, okay, for this treatment I would like you to wear a tank top. Is that okay? And if someone says, no, I'm going to wear a sweatshirt, then I'm like, okay, we will work with different points. We will work with whatever part of the body is available for treatment at that time. And the sessions are not about gritting through pain, and they're not about being overly vulnerable to a point of discomfort. It's about increasing comfort and increasing feelings of safety. So the way I achieve that is by allowing patients to direct me with what areas of the body are okay to be treated at that time. I do refer patients to Elise here at North Node for tapping and talk therapy. I also refer to a nurse practitioner, massage therapist, personal trainer, chiropractor, so I do have people who I trust, and there is a really strong network of providers here in Milwaukee to treat our community. In terms of cost, we offer a sliding scale here at North Node Clinic. The scale is $60 to $110. Our rate for an hour and 15-minute long session is $80, and any payment over $80 is considered a donation to help offset people who cannot afford the $80 rate. There is no proof of income required, and we let patients choose what they want to pay on the scale, appointment to appointment. So nobody is locked into a price, and they can change how much they're giving per treatment. We also offer gua sha, cupping, and tapping at a smaller rate, and it's also a shorter session. So for like 25 minutes, you could get cupping done for $20 to $40. So those are a lot more accessible, and those modalities are still very transformative and can be very helpful. It's not like acupuncture is the only way to feel better. At this point, we do not take insurance. We do have the ability to print out a super bill for patients to take to their insurance companies. More and more Midwestern policies are covering acupuncture, so that's amazing. And we are happy to support people getting reimbursed to the best of our ability. You can find us online at northnodeclinic.org. We also have a Facebook page, North Node Clinic, and we're on Instagram. The handle is North Node Clinic. Feel free to reach out, email us, call us 414-239-8234, and we would love to talk and get to know everybody.